everyone and welcome to xxMelle Potato Kitchen! Today we're making a recipe that I did not think that would be that tasty. It's not my creation. I took it from a magazine. It's General Tao Tofu Balls. They are so good. I did not believe it was tofu that was in those little packed with flavor balls. It sounds weird, okay? But I swear, it's like meatballs, okay? Nothing's weird here. So anyway, let's go right into it. This is what it looked like. They were so full of flavor and the sauce was sticky and sweet and everything was perfect. I did my own version of General Tao Sauce that I like and those balls, and yeah. So let's get right into it. First thing you'll need to do is you'll need to have tofu that you have pressed. You'll need panko, you'll need chives and dehydrated onion, some eggs, and some minced garlic and ginger. So here I'm taking 3 eggs because my eggs were small, but for 1 block of tofu you can use 2 eggs. But if you have really small eggs like I did, I recommend using 3 so that you make sure that everything is sticking together. The first thing you need to do is make sure that you have all the ingredients ready because you're gonna put all of this into the food processor. First step is to take the tofu, crush it into rough pieces just so that it fits properly into the thing. The equivalent of 1 tablespoon of a mix of ginger and garlic. Add the 2 or 3 eggs. Add a 1/4 cup of dehydrated onion and chives. I ended up not having enough chives, so I used fresh chive as well from my indoor garden. They're really small right now, so it didn't add much, but it was better than nothing at all. Next ingredient is a 1.25 cups of panko breadcrumbs. You add that right into it. It's really easy because you just add everything into the thing and eventually you blend it all and it's ready. Next ingredient is 1/3 cup of vegetable broth without the cat hair. Be generous on salt and on the pepper as usual. Then here I decided to add some white pepper as well. Not only black pepper, but white pepper, because white pepper is used a lot in Asian food. So I decided to add a little bit of this. And I had a tiny bit of MSG. See, there's not much, like 1/4 teaspoon of MSG. Then you cover this, blend it until you reach this texture, like granulated texture, but that it kind of stick together too. So you see here, I'm able to form a ball in my hand without too much issue. Of course, it's always hard to make either meatball or a regular ball. It's not always easy. I struggle with this, so it took me a little while, but I just kept pressing it in my hand, trying and form a ball, and eventually it did nice little tofu balls packed with flavor. So let's speed things up a little bit. I did not wet my hand. I did not do anything special. All I did is kept going, forming the little balls until I had no mix left. And I've made a mess, so at the end I just emptied the bowl on the counter to make sure that I had everything and do not waste food, because food waste is bad. Probably not the first time you hear that, but food waste is bad. Then once the balls were ready, what you need to do is you need to cover them with cornstarch. So the instruction said to take the ball 1 by 1 and dip them into a container with cornstarch. But I thought it was a little bit too much trouble. So here you can see I'm taking the cornstarch and a mesh sieved, and I decided to sprinkle the cornstarch on top of the tofu ball. And honestly, yes, it didn't make a mess, but it worked a lot better than I thought it would. It covered all of my tofu ball very quickly. And then I used what was left into the plate to cover the other sides. As you can see here, I did that like 2 or 3 times until all of the sides were fully coated with the cornstarch. And then I was ready to go to the next step. So once they're all coated with cornstarch, what you want to do is to start preheating your pan with a little bit of oil so that it doesn't stick. So I added, well, maybe a little bit more than a little bit of oil. You kind of want to fry them a little bit like you would do with meatballs. You want to fry them properly and you want to make sure that it doesn't stick at the bottom of the pan. This is a non-sticky pan, so I've never had anything stick to it yet, but I wanted to make sure it wouldn't stick. So I made sure that the pan was preheating before putting the tofu ball into this, so that they cook instantly and not stick at the bottom. So once it was hot, I noticed with this pan the oil starts to move on the sides when it's hot. So I started adding the tofu balls and I cooked them for maybe 5 minutes. Not too long, just enough so that it's grilled on most of the side. Once they were grilled on most of the sides and they were holding together, I put them into my air fryer to cook a little bit longer until they were golden brown and crispy. They will not get as golden brown as normal meatball, obviously, but for tofu they were crispy and golden, and it was really good. So while I was cooking, I started prepping the general Tao sauce while I was cooking veggies. So here I'm adding a third cup of vinegar, third a cup of red wine vinegar, half a cup of water, 3/4 cup of brown sugar. Oyster sauce, I have no idea how much, but maybe like between a teaspoon or a tablespoon. This container does not want to get the oyster sauce out of this. It's really hard, so I go for it. Then I added some soy sauce. I would say maybe 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, or a little more if you want it a little bit more salty. I had it a lot and I didn't measure, so I have no idea. But I'll put all the ingredients on my website and the amount and everything. Then I added some sriracha and some the leftover of the garlic and ginger mix that I did. It's pretty much like a small piece of ginger and like maybe half a bulb of garlic that I chopped. Then I added a little bit of oil and I started mixing the mixture so that all of the ingredients are mixed well together. Once that was done, I finished cooking my veggies and I started eating the sauce. Once the sauce was getting hot, I added the meatballs that were now fully cooked, brown and crispy, and I let them cook for 2 minutes like this. Then I added cornstarch slurry. Cornstarch slurry is like 1 tablespoon of cornstarch for like 1 tablespoon of water, and if it's too thick, then add 1 more tablespoon of water, and then you add that into a hot mixture. So you put it into a hot sauce, otherwise it will not work. Your sauce needs to be hot for the cornstarch slurry to work. So as you can see here, I mixed everything well, and eventually everything started being really thick, and the tofu balls are now glossy because they are covered in the sweet sauce. Then I started plating the plates. Those were way too big. I could not finish my plate. I don't know. I guess I was hungry when I made the plates. I added 5 tofu balls into each plate. Those were gone at the end, but we had a lot of rice left and veggies in our plate. So this is what it looked like at the end. They were so tasty. It was sweet. It was full of flavor. I served that with crunchy veggies and a neutral flavored rice, and it was really good. So that's it for today's recipe. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I need to thank you all for hyping up my video from last week. It's crazy. I got like 50 something views under like a few days. I am so grateful for all of you who watched my video. Welcome to everyone who is new here. For those who doesn't know, my name is Mel, and I love making food and play video games. So if you don't follow me yet, please make sure that you go on the link down below and to follow me everywhere that you enjoy being on the internet. And until then, I will be here next week again for another video. No idea what it will be. I will see in a few days. But I'll see you guys next week for another video. And until then, you can follow me on Twitch because I'm live every Friday with some Beat Saber. See you guys next week. Bye bye!